Well, howdy, folks, and welcome to Moose Podcast number 200. Yep, number 200. Yay! It's amazing, made it this far. And it's because of you, folks. So thank you ever so much for all your support, all your great emails, all your tweets. It is really gratifying, and I can't thank you enough for making it to number 200, as well as my good friends at Bedford Camera, bedfords.com. Those folks, they continue to support all of us, me as well, the Moose Podcast, and I'm grateful. I've got a 24 to 200 Z-lens coming from them that, hey, I couldn't find elsewhere. Bedford's got it. I have it. I'm a happy camper. So thank you one and all for all you do to keep moving that photography forward. And remember, when you sit there and you call Bedfords or you go to bedfords.com, enter that MOOSE secret word for the discount, save yourself some real cash along with the shipping and the sales tax. Well, let's get right into this week's topic, feeling the blues. Are you feeling the blues? Now, Karen text, it's not that Karen, okay? The one that we, keep doing the memes about. She says, I'm kind of feeling the blues. I've been cooped up. I've listened to all the things I'm supposed to do, and I'm here to tell you, photographically, I'm a little bit blue. And we're not talking about blue color cast, because that's a simple fix. We're talking about the blues. As in, how do you get yourself up and motivated and out shooting when you turn on the news, you read the paper, or you talk to a friend, and you're instantly like, wow, things aren't going so well. Unless you're in New Zealand, who for the last 100 days, that's a whole nother story, right? What's New Zealand doing? We're not. A whole bunch. Anyway, feeling the blues. First and foremost, Karen, you're not the only one. I felt them more than once, and not just recently. That kind of comes with the photographic/creative world. Now, my answer to your getting out of the blues has nothing to do with photography. Shockaroo, right? Has to do with something else totally different. So a week ago, I was out fly fishing with our son Jake, who has gotten to be really good. Now, I know where he learned fly fishing. I know where he learned fly tying from. But for the last 12 years, he's been doing it. The old man hasn't. Literally, last weekend was the first time I got a fly line wet in 12 years. Now, we went out, and Jake, being a great kid, thought he should take it easy on Dad. Now, he knew Dad was feeling a bit blue, especially when it comes to fly fishing. Coming from the Eastern Sierra, which was and is a beautiful trophy fishing area, to Montana, he wanted to get me out. And Sharon and Jake and Brent got me this beautiful new fly rod and reel for Christmas, trying to get me out of my fishing funk, which really is no different than photography funks when it comes to funks. So Jake took me out, and he took me to a place, well, I'm pretty sure, he didn't say it, but where he thought that, I could catch a fish just being a dork. You ever had that feeling as a photographer? Someone's taking you out to a place where no matter if you knew f-stops or shutter speeds, Karen, you knew that there it was. It was put onto you in front of you kind of like a silver platter. You just go click and you go, wow, I'm a photographer again. That's kind of what I thought it was for fly fishing. Now, I'm not really sure. I took a fly, and I fly with fishes or with flies that I tie only. I don't buy any. Put on that bug, stuck it out there, and pretty quickly, boom, I had not only a fish on the line, but I come to find out kind of a unique fish, rare fish for those waters. I just caught a very unique cutthroat. Not just a cutthroat, but a pretty big cutthroat. And I always fish barbless. I have a barbless hook. That way I take the hook out of the fish real quick. I don't cause any injury, and off it goes. And it just took that one that you could say shook out the cobwebs, got the juices running, kept things going, and all of a sudden, while I was a little dismayed by how poorly I walked on boulders compared to what I did 12 years ago, and I put my fly into the bushes more than once and got a few air knots more than I would like. After 12 years, I didn't totally suck, and Jake said I didn't really embarrass him in front of his friends, which was a major concern. And it just took getting the line wet to kind of get past the blues. Photographically, I don't think it's really that much different. The question is, how do you get that line wet again? How do you take that first click to get past the blues? In these days right now where you could have a lot on your mind, from COVID to economics to so much other things in life that are just normal concerns, getting past that blue could be a major challenge. I've said this before. I still think it works. In the past, though, it had to do with when you kind of like had that writer's block, photographer's block. And that's simply firing off the camera a whole lot. Just hold down that button. Let that shutter just go blam, 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 blam. And nothing does it like the D6, let me tell you. And you listen to that, and we're our own little version of Pavlov's dog. And that sound does trigger things. Because photography is not just a visual pursuit. There's a lot that goes into that passion behind the click. There are smells. There are senses such as the wind and the cold. Could be coffee, could be bacon. It's always bacon, right? Bacon. Oh, God, I gotta have bacon, right? That great, after the morning shoot enticement, reward, bacon, right? Bacon. So, hey, right off the bat, all those things go into that click. The thing is, and here's the challenge when you've got the blues, is taking that first step or taking that first click. Now, there's no doubt that having a new piece of gear really kind of gets you past the blues. But right off the bat, there's a price tag involved. That's not always a great option. Right now might not even be an option. How about a new technique? Now, I've talked about her many times, my dear friend Auntie, and she's an inspiration because she keeps finding things that, in these times where you kind of like, you're stuck at home, what can you do? And she saw some of these, Joey Terrell, another Nikon ambassador, he has done some incredible macro shots. They're just, you look at him and go, now, how'd you come up with that idea? I mean, seriously, how did Joey come up with these ideas? And he's got, bless his heart, these tutorials out there. Video tutorials are on Nikon USA. They're on his site. There's a number of places, and he keeps posting all these variations of these macro shots he's doing that are just mind-boggling. I mean, they are mind-boggling. Auntie saw one of those. She goes, whoa, that's out of my wheelhouse. Let me give it a try, because that's the way she is. And she started doing it. And then, while she didn't have immediate success at what Joey was doing kind of macro, she found her own derivative, which worked for her. Now, Auntie's never got the blues, so that part of this conversation has nothing to do with her. But the fact that you see something that you go, that's kind of out of my wheelhouse, I'll give it a try, in itself can get you out of the blues. Now, understand that as we go down these different paths, there are times where they just blow up and you're just like, it's a mess. You can't hit the delete key fast enough. And there's other times where you have that one little gem amongst all of them and you go, oh, there is something here. And it just takes just the slightest little bit of success and the blues start to warm up. Our mind and our frame of thought changes enough, we move that ball forward. And that's really what we're talking about, what it takes. And I wish that this would happen every time we went and tried exploring something outside our wheelhouse, that every time we had the blues, there was really kind of a simple, quick fix. Understand that that's not always the case. I'm right there with you. I've been there with you more than once. And you just have to keep right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, knowing that at some point you will step out of those blues and things will turn around. And that's really the biggest challenge. You could say in one single word is having that faith that it will get better. Tomorrow the sun will rise and it will light that subject that lights up your world. You just have to sit there and work on keeping your mind open enough to make that happen. Now, one thing that I can tell you from my own personal experience that helps getting past the blues is blowing past the stuff that photographers like to do. Posting photographs and seeing likes, and depending on those likes or those loves, to make yourself feel like you're moving the ball forward. Because think about it. What are you doing? You're actually looking at some old photographs, some old success, and hoping that that will garnish you some love, and that will get you move the ball forward. The problem is it's a older photograph. I had a photo editor, and he was I'm just going to say, he was a little bit on the brutal side of life. He taught me a heck of a lot, but man, it left a mark. And one of the things he said that has stuck with me ever since he said it was, you're only as good as the last photograph you had published. If you got the blues and you think about that, that could be really a challenge. That could be a major challenge. For myself, right, you just had a cover put on, Air and Space at Smithsonian Magazine. If you're only as good as the last photograph you had published, how do you top that? How do you even keep even with that? How do you even start to catch up to that? That could give you the blues. It does give you the blues. And that's part of the creative process. And that's the problem with this whole thing. It's no bunch of peaks. There are valleys. And after that valley, you have to get back up to that peak. And that means you have to work. You have to struggle. You have to think about things. You got to swallow your gumption, and you have to sit there and put out some sweat. Having the blues is part of the process. There's nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with your photography. If you don't have the blues at some point, then I would probably begin to worry more than not. Understand that we all have those things, especially with all that's piling on us today. And know that tomorrow that sun will come up, and that possibility of that click comes with it. And that's what you have to use to go out and shoot that next click. You folks have a great week. Thanks ever so much again for always bringing my bright spot each day. And remember to make every click your story.